Hi everyone, I'm Katrina, and in this video let's go over how to set up the Burrow theme by Woo Themes for WordPress. So if you're new to building websites and new to WordPress in general, you're in the right spot because I'm going to guide you step by step from scratch, showing you how to get this website up and running. The good news is that you don't have to have any coding or programming experience. I'm literally going to show you from the very beginning to the very end how to get this entire website up and running. So let's take a quick tour around the website we'll be building in this video. So here we are on the home page of the Burrow theme. This is a premium theme from Woo Themes, and we can see that this is in general a very minimalist, very clean and modern design for any kind of business, especially perhaps any business that uses imagery to really sell your products or services. So for example, if you're a photographer, an artist, an interior designer, or if you have some kind of shop where you really want to feature images, this business theme would be a beautiful theme for your website. So here we see the main focus of attention on the home page is really this large slider at the top. There's a really clean menu navigation bar here. Then you'll have your title, logo, and your tagline. And then underneath the slider here, I've added some different recent blog posts. You can see they're all very uniform, very simple and minimalist. And then we see here down below there is a footer section that I do not have activated. I'll show you how to set up the footer if you'd like to, but in general I just prefer keeping everything really minimalist here just to keep it really sophisticated and clean looking, modern. So anyway, this is what I'm going to show you how to build. You can see here we have our different calls to action: shop travel deals, shop for home, shop for art. You can add whatever title you'd like for your blog post, of course, but it's always good to have a call to action, especially on the home page. So I will use these titles here as my call to action. So here is the home page. Let's take a look at one of the internal pages. So when I click on shop, I should note that this theme is awesome because it does include WooCommerce, which is an e-commerce functionality and e-commerce plugin provided by Woo Themes. So if you don't have any products to sell just yet, no worries. You don't have to include the e-commerce functionality, but the good news is that when you're ready and you do have products down the line, you can easily integrate e-commerce into this particular business website. So here we see, here I have my shop page with 3 product items. I'm going to click on one of them just to show you what the product pages look like. So here you'll see you'll have a large image of the product on the left-hand side, and then the product title, the price, and then the call to action, add to cart. Then scrolling down below, you'll have a short product description and then some related products that anyone can also check out if they're interested in this one. Also note that when I click on this particular image, it opens up into a really nice light box display so I can see a larger version of the product image. So that is what the product page looks like within this theme. Now let's take a look at some portfolio items, because once again this is a great theme for anyone who's a photographer, artist, an interior designer, an architect, or anyone who has images that you want to share with the world. So here I'm going to click on the portfolio, and here we see there's a number of very large thumbnail images on the image gallery. So when I click on one of these, for example, it also opens up into a really nice light box display so you can see larger versions of the images on the image page. So I'll show you in this video how you can set up this particular light box, as well as all of the different thumbnail images on a portfolio page. Okay, next is the blog. It's always a good idea to have a blog. Google and search engines love fresh content, and a blog gives you a way to create fresh content and upload as much content as you would like on a daily basis. So it's always a good idea to have a blog with your website so that your site can be more likely to be found within search engines, which of course we all want. So here you see, here's the blog index page. There's going to be the short blog excerpts with a featured image associated with each of them. And then on the right-hand side, we'll have a sidebar where you can add any kind of customized content you like. So I'll show you how to set up the custom content, and of course you can include different content if you like. For this particular example, I have some social icons, so I'll show you how you can set those up so anyone can connect with you on the social web, either via Google+, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or some other social network. Then, because this is also an e-commerce website, I have a search for products content section here, and then some recent products featured right here. Once again, if you don't have any e-commerce items, no worries. You don't have to include e-commerce at all in this theme. It's just an option if you'd like to include it now or perhaps later down the line. So here's the blog index page. Let's take a quick look at what a blog post will actually look like. So when I scroll down here, I'm going to choose this particular blog post, Shop for Art, and here we'll actually see the blog post page. So the blog post will have a published date, the author, and the category that the blog post has been grouped into, and then I'll show you how to add images to your blog post, text, calls to action like buttons, as well as videos and image galleries. So we see here, here's a short small little image gallery. When I click on it, it once again opens up into a really cool lightbox display so you can see larger versions of the images within the blog post. So in addition to that, when I scroll down, then we also see there's some social sharing features, and I'll show you in this video how to set that up so that your content can be easily shared by anyone visiting your content. They can share it via Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or one of the other social networks. Just under that, you'll have an author bio with a author pic or image associated with it, and then you'll have your comment section so anyone can leave a comment on your blog post. On the right hand side, we see there's another sidebar with customized content. So your blog post, like the blog index page, will have a sidebar here that you can customize what content shows up in the sidebar. Now let's take a look at the About page. Most likely you're going to have an About page about you or your business. So when I click on this link here, About, we'll see this is a full width page that you can add either an image, video, or text or calls to action, and I'll show you how to set this up. And finally, there's a contact page so anyone can contact you directly via your website. So this is where we are headed to. I want to take a look really quick to show you the checkout process if you do decide to activate the e-commerce features on this website. So when I click on Shop, for example, to go to the Shop page, I'm going to click on this item here, this art. Then I'm going to click on Add to Cart to add this to the cart. And here we see, okay, the art was successfully added to your cart. I can view the cart by clicking on View Cart. And here we are on the cart page. So on the cart page, you'll have a thumbnail image of the product that's being ordered, the title, the price, the quantity, and then the total. And then you'll also have the cart totals down below with the subtotal, the shipping price, and the order total. So as we see here, I have free shipping set up. I'll show you how to set up shipping, whether it's flat rate shipping, international shipping, local pickup or delivery. It's really up to you. I have this set up right now with free shipping. And then note over here, there's a coupon that you can apply as well. So I'll show you in this video how to create a coupon. So I have this coupon here, Summer Fun. I'm just going to apply the coupon by clicking on Apply Coupon. And then we see, okay, the coupon code was applied successfully. And when I scroll down, now the order total is $115 instead of $120 because I have a $5 coupon. So also note that this is green right here. I'm going to change this color so that it is more consistent with the overall colors of the theme. So don't worry about this green bar. We're going to change that color as well so it's perhaps yellow or maybe this brown color. So okay, the next step is I'm going to proceed to the checkout by clicking on Proceed to Checkout. And here we are on the checkout page. So a customer would fill out their billing address and shipping address, and then they would scroll down, review their order totals, and click on Place Order. Now note that I have this currently set up with PayPal. With PayPal, you can either pay with your PayPal account or a customer can log in as a guest, and they do not have to have a PayPal account when they're using PayPal. So I've just used PayPal. There's many other different payment methods though, and I'll show you how to set that up in this video, but just for in the essence of time and simplicity, I've set this up with PayPal. So a customer would simply click on this button here that says Place Order, then they would be taken to the PayPal page where they would either log into their PayPal account or they would log in as a guest and they can pay for the product with their credit card or debit card. So this is what we are headed to. Once again, here's the home page of the Bureau by WooThemes Premium theme. This is a WordPress website designed for businesses, and it's a gorgeous minimalist theme. So I hope you enjoy this video. Let's get started building this website. So before we get started, how much is this website going to cost? Well, we need several things. Number one, we need a domain name, and we also need web hosting. In this video, I'll be using HostGator.com for web hosting, and at HostGator, you can get both the web hosting as well as the domain name. I'll also be using a coupon to get an extra discount off of my order at HostGator, and that coupon is WP Coupon 25. So if you decide to go with HostGator, be sure to use WP Coupon 25 as well to get an extra discount off of your order also. I just want to mention as well, I do receive a small referral from HostGator, so thank you in advance for your support of helping me continue to make these free WordPress training videos. Once you have the domain name and the web hosting, the next thing that we'll need is the theme. And as mentioned in this video, we'll be building out the Burrow theme. Burrow is a premium WordPress theme by Woo Themes. It's a responsive, mobile-friendly theme, and you can get this theme at Woo Themes for $70. Finally, we'll need some time to build out this website, and I'm estimating it should take roughly around 2 hours. I'll try to go fast to speed things up, but please set aside some time to get this website up and running by watching the video. Okay, so in sum, the total to get started with this particular website is less than $95, and again, that's using the coupon code WP Coupon 25 at HostGator. So what are the 3 steps we need to take to get this website set up? Well, number one, we need to get a domain name and get the web hosting. Second, we need to install WordPress, and finally, number 3, we need to build out the website. So let's take care of step number 1 by heading over to HostGator and getting the domain and the web hosting. So here we are on HostGator.com. To view the web hosting plans, go ahead and click on the button in the middle that says View Web Hosting Plans. And here we'll see that there's 3 different plans to choose from. We have the hatchling plan, the baby plan, and the business plan. If you are a small business owner, or if you're just getting your website up and running for the first time, most likely the hatchling plan or the baby plan would be a good fit for you. The difference between these two is that the hatchling plan gives you a way to host one website domain, whereas the baby plan gives you a way to host as many website domains as you would like. So there's definitely more of a value in the baby plan since you can host as many websites as you would like under one account. But if you are just getting started, as mentioned, most likely you only have one domain at the moment, then you can go ahead and click on the hatchling plan to sign up for that. So I'm going to click on the baby plan because I want to order that one. And next we'll see that the next step is we need to choose a domain. If you already have a domain, you can just enter that here in this field and click on Continue to Step 2. And if you need to get a domain name for your website, then you can enter the domain name you would like here, and you can click on Continue to Step 2. Now just note that down below here it says enter a coupon code, and by default you'll automatically get a coupon from HostGator. But if you want to add even more of a reduced rate on top of that, you can use this coupon, which will give you an extra amount off of your order. So I'm going to put WP Coupon 25. That's a special coupon that you can add to get more off the total when you go to check out for your order. So I'm going to leave it at WP Coupon 25 to get a little bit more off my order, and I'm just going to put in a random domain name for the moment just to show you for the demo purpose what the next page looks like. So I'm going to click on Continue to Step 2, which brings us to Step 2, the billing information page. Now on this page, we see the first thing at the top is the package type. I had signed up for the baby plan, so we see that right here. And then we see the current billing cycle that I'm signing up for. Now, I do not want to sign up for 36 months of web hosting all at once. I want to keep my expenses much lower than that, and I prefer to pay month by month. So I'm going to click on this here, and I'm just going to choose the billing cycle of 1 month at a time. That way I'll be paying 1 month as I go for my web hosting. The next thing that you want to do is you want to choose a username and a security PIN. Then you can fill in your different billing information right here. Then when we come down here, we'll note that there are the hosting add-ons. By default, HostGator has you signed up for domain privacy as well as the site lock. So you can choose whether you want to include these add-ons or not. I'm going to uncheck the site lock because I have some other ways that I intend on protecting my website when I start building it, so I don't want to sign up for the site lock. And the privacy protection, this is really optional as well, so it's optional if you want to use it. I do recommend signing up for privacy, however, and this is why. When you create a web hosting account on any kind of web hosting company, by default, if you do not have privacy, account details, including your address, your email address, and your phone number, may show up in the web host database for anyone on the internet to be able to access. So I prefer keeping my address and my phone number and my email address private. So whenever I buy a new web domain, I always sign up for privacy protection. If you don't want privacy protection though, you can save some money by unchecking this. I'm going to leave it on for the moment though. Then you can just come down here and you see here is the details. Here are the details of your order. We note that with this coupon, WP Coupon 25, we're getting almost $10 off. So essentially the first month of web hosting is free with this coupon. And we can see that here is our domain name and our hosting add-on of $9.95. So in total, we're looking at under $25 to get started. If you want to save some more money, as mentioned, you can uncheck the privacy protection and you'll note that now the total is under $15. But once again, I like getting privacy, so I'm going to leave that on. And the last thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you click on this little box here that says I have read and agreed to the terms and conditions of use. So once you have your hosting order all ready to go, and when this looks good to you, you can go ahead and click on Create Account to create your new web hosting account. So once you click on Create Your Account, you'll get this page which will thank you for your order and will tell you to go check your email for information related to logging into your web hosting account. So I'm going to go check out my email. And here we see on my email account, here's the email from HostGator with my account info. So I'm going to click this email to open it, and I want to point out two things. Number one, the first link that they'll share with you in the email is the billing system link. So if you want to check out any info related to your billing, you can go ahead and click on this link and use the password that they give you. And then right below that, you'll see that there's a link for your control panel with your username and a temporary password. So I'm going to copy this password here, the temporary password, and to log into your control panel, you'll use this link. So this is a really good email to keep in a safe place for future reference because you will be needing this information as well as the link to the control panel to log into your HostGator web hosting account. So I'm going to click on this link here, and then here is my username. You want to type in your username here that was found in the email, and then you want to add your password right here as well. Once you have that set up, you want to click on Login to log into the control panel of your web hosting account. So here we are on the HostGator control panel. The next step that we want to do is step number 2. We want to install WordPress. And thankfully with HostGator, there's a really easy way to install WordPress using their simple wizard script. So I am going to scroll down to where that is located. You want to scroll down to where it says Software and Services, and you want to find this icon that says Quick Install. So this is what we're going to use to install WordPress really easily in HostGator. We're going to use this Quick Install link, so I'm going to click on that. And once I click on that, you'll note that there's all these different kinds of software listed here on the left-hand sidebar. So right at the top, you'll note that it says blog software, and there's a link here for WordPress. This is what we want to install, so I'm going to click on that. And then you'll note that there's a button here that says continue. Also note that we are installing version 3.5.1 of WordPress, which is the most current version available at the time of this recording. So we are installing WordPress 3.5.1, and then I'm going to click on continue to continue the process. And here you want to choose the domain name that you want to install WordPress on. I'm going to install it on this domain name here. The next thing that you want to do is you want to create an admin email, a blog title, an admin username, and you can also, if you'd like, add a first name or last name. I'm just going to add an admin email here, so put in my email. Also, you want to give it a title, so I'll just call it the name of the domain. Now the admin user, this is an important one to keep in mind. The default for WordPress websites is admin. The admin user default is admin, and that's not really the safest username to use. So you want to create a username that is anything other than admin. So I'll just use my name for the moment. And you can add first name, last name if you'd like. I'm not going to do that, and I'm just going to click on here and click on Install Now. Okay, congratulations, your installation is ready. So you can access the installation of your new website by clicking on this link here. And also note that here is the admin area login URL that you'll use in the future to access the login panel. To access your website in the future, you want to make a note of this link here. It's usually your domain name followed by wp-admin. So that's an important link to remember as well, so that going forward you can easily log into your WordPress website. Also make a note of your username and password. This is what you will also need, of course, to log into your website when you click on this link. So I'm just going to highlight this temporary password here and copy it. And then I'm going to click on this link here to log into my new WordPress website. So here we are on the login screen of our WordPress website. To log in, you want to enter your username in the username field and your password in the password field. And then you want to click on this button that says Remember Me, so that the next time you come to WordPress, your username and password will be remembered. In the event that you forget your password in the future, or perhaps even now, you want to click on this link here that says Lost Your Password, and WordPress will send you a password reset to the email that you used when you were creating your WordPress website. So for the moment, here I have my username and password. I'm going to go ahead and click on the login button to log in to the WordPress website. So here we are on the WordPress dashboard. This is the first thing you'll see when you log into your WordPress website. And when you first install WordPress, you'll also see this message that says Welcome to WordPress. Within this message box, there's a number of links, and each of these links represent some of the first things that most people do when they install their WordPress website. For the moment, though, I'm going to go ahead and dismiss this message by clicking on Dismiss in the top right-hand corner here, so that we can just see the dashboard without that message. So here we are on the dashboard. Let's take a look at what the website looks like right out of the box when we first install WordPress. So to see the site, I'm going to go up to the top left-hand side and click on Visit Site right underneath the name of the website. So right here where it says Visit Site, I'm going to click on that. And here we see this is what the website looks like now without doing anything. So it's pretty bare bones. This is the 2012 theme that comes with your WordPress installation, and we'll be making quite a bit of changes so that it will end up looking like this at the very end. So this is what we're headed toward, but for the moment our website looks like this. So let's go back to the dashboard and start building out this theme. To do that, you want to go to the top left-hand side, hover over the website name, and the first link is Dashboard. We want to click on Dashboard. And here we are on the dashboard of our WordPress website. So this is the first thing that we'll see when you log into your WordPress website. For the moment, the first step we want to take is we want to change the theme of the website. So to do that, on the left-hand side, the first step here is you want to click on Appearance. And here we're on the Manage Theme screen. So notice that the current theme is a 2012 theme. This is the theme that comes with your WordPress installation. So the first thing we need to do is we need to install the premium theme from WooThemes called Burrow into our WordPress website. So we need to switch the theme out from the 2012 theme to the Burrow theme. So to install a new theme, I'm going to click on this tab here that says Install Themes. And then there's a link here that says Upload. I'm going to click on Upload. And here it says Install a theme in .zip format. So we need to head on over to WooThemes where we can purchase this Burrow theme, download it, and then we can install it in the .zip format. So I'm going to head on over to WooThemes right here. I'm on woothemes.com. At the top, I'm going to click on Themes. And then I'm going to do a filter for a WooCommerce theme, since the Burrow theme also happens to be an e-commerce WooCommerce theme. So I'm going to click on WooCommerce and click on Search. And then you'll notice that all of these really gorgeous themes pop up that you can choose from within the WooThemes product catalog, theme catalog. So this particular theme is on page 2, so I'm going to click on Next to go to the theme. It's a responsive theme, which means it'll look awesome on smartphones, tablets, desktops, and laptops as well. Here is the theme, so I'm going to click on Bureau, and then I'm going to click on From $70 Buy Now. And then you'll see here there are 3 different packages you can choose from: Standard Package, Developer Package, or the Woo Themes Club. So most likely if you're just installing this for one website, most likely you just need the Standard Package, which is the least expensive one for $70. If you want the Developer Package, you can check that one out, and if you want access to all 84 themes in the Woo Themes library, you can join the Woo Themes Club. So I am just going to click on the theme package here of Standard, and I'm going to leave it as support and updates of 1-year free updates. That sounds good. And then you want to click on Add to Cart to add this particular theme to your cart. And here we see, here is my cart. I've already bought this, so I'm not going to buy it a second time, but you just want to click on this button here that says Check Out Now, and then you will be able to download your new theme. So I am simply going to go to my account by clicking on my account right here. I'm already logged in to Woo Themes. By default, I'll land on the dashboard here with my subscriptions, and then to download your theme, you're either going to click on the download tab here or the subscription downloads, depending on what kind of account you signed up for and whichever package you bought, either the developer package or the standard package. So I'm just going to click on subscription downloads here, and then I'm going to find the Bureau theme, which should be listed toward the bottom of my list here. Here is the theme that I want, and then I'm just going to come over here to the right hand side, and I'm going to click on this link here that says download theme. Once you've downloaded the Bureau theme, the next step is you want to come back to your WordPress website on the Install Themes screen, and you want to click on this button here that says Choose File. Then I'm going to choose my file, burrow.zip. Again, you need to make sure this is a .zip file, and then I'll click on Choose. And then once the file is listed here, go ahead and click on Install Now to install this new theme. Okay, the theme was installed successfully. Next, we can either live preview it, activate it, or return to the themes page. I'm going to click on Activate to activate this theme. And when you click on Activate, the next thing is you'll see a couple messages up top here telling you either, one, you can enhance your theme with WooDojo, or you can enable Press Trends. So I am not going to enable Press Trends right now, so I'm just going to click on this X here to close this message. Are you sure you'd like to close this banner? Yes, okay. However, we do need to add WooDojo. So I'm going to click on this link here that says Get WooDojo. And then here we are back on the Woo Themes website where you can click on this button here to download WooDojo for free. So I'm going to click on Download WooDojo for free. And then once WooDojo is downloaded, the next step is we need to go back to our website. And here on our WordPress website, we need to upload the plugin called WooDojo. So I'm going to go over here to Plugins, click on Plugins, and then at the top, I'm going to click on Add New. And just as we did before with the themes, I'm also going to upload a new plugin by clicking on the upload link right here. Next, we need to choose the WooDojo file. So I'm going to click on Choose File. Click on the woodojo.zip file and click on Choose, and then once again I'm going to click on Install Now to install WooDojo. Once the plugin has been installed, now I'm going to click on Activate to activate the plugin. And then I'm going to go over to WooDojo on the top left hand side. You should see a new link here that says WooDojo, and there's 2 things that we need to add from within the WooDojo toolkit. So I'm going to click on WooDojo. And here we see at the top it says WooDojo is a powerful toolkit of features to enhance your website. So there's all these different features that you can add here within this toolkit. So the first one that we need is the plugin called WooCommerce. It notes here WooCommerce is a powerful, extendable e-commerce plugin that helps you sell anything beautifully. So I'm going to click on Download and Activate of the WooCommerce plugin. And then once WooCommerce has been activated successfully, you'll see a note here that says, Welcome to WooCommerce, you're almost ready to start selling. So there's a button here that says Install WooCommerce Pages, so I'm going to click on this. And now it looks like we're good to go with WooCommerce. It says, Welcome to WooCommerce 2.0. So I'm going to do a quick check here by clicking on Settings, and then I'm going to click on Pages, and here we see all of the pages have been created by WooCommerce. So that's good. Now we need one more thing over at WooDojo. So I'm going to go back to WooDojo by clicking on WooDojo. And the second thing that we need is this WooDojo custom code feature that comes bundled with WooDojo. So I am going to activate WooDojo custom code right here. Okay, so the WooDojo custom code has been activated, so we're good to go there. We'll come back to this in just a little bit. I just wanted to get it set up so we have it for when we need it down the road. So we're good to go there. Let's take a look at what the website looks like and see what we need to start with. So I'm going to go up to the top right here, underneath the website name, and I'm going to click on Visit Site to visit the home page of our new website. So here we are on the home page of the Buro theme that we just installed, and you can see I have quite a few error messages. You may have similar error messages, or maybe you only have one or two or just one error message, but as we see here, there's quite a bit of work we need to do. We have a lot of work to do. So let's take a look at the website that I already built on another domain to see where we are headed. So here's the website that I built on another domain just as a demo, and you can see here we have a really nice menu navigation bar, the website name, and a title, or you could also add your logo here. We're going to be adding the sliders here, and then underneath that we're going to be adding 3 different recent blog posts with hopefully calls to action on the titles of the blog post. So this is where we are headed right now, and where we are right now looks like this, or something like this. So the first thing we need to do probably is add our website name and our tagline. So let's take care of that first. I'm going to go up to the top, click on Dashboard, and then I'm going to go to the theme options of Buro by hovering over Buro and clicking on Theme Options. Now the first tab that we arrive at within the theme options screen is the General Settings tab, and here you can see there are different style sheets, different colors that you can select for this website. So when I click on default.css, you see you can turn the website gray, green, blue, tan, or keep it at the default, which is like a brown color. So you can choose whichever ones you like here. I'm going to leave it at the default. And then the next thing is you notice that here you can add a custom logo to the header of your website by clicking on Upload, selecting the file, and then uploading your new logo. I'm actually not going to do that. I'm going to keep it with a text title in the header. So I'm going to click on this box here. And then you can see that I have different site title colors I can choose, fonts, and also I'm also going to add a site description. So I'm also going to check on this box here for site description. Now when we scroll down, if you'd like, you can also add a custom favicon. A favicon is the small, as it notes here, 16 pixel by 16 pixel image that will represent your website's favicon. So in the URL of the website, sometimes there's a little icon next to it, and that is what the favicon refers to. Finally, on this particular screen, if you're using Google Analytics, and I do encourage you to use Google Analytics, Google Analytics are a great way to track your website activity and see where your visitors are coming from, where they're bouncing off from, and how they're navigating around your website. So it's always a good idea to sign up for Google Analytics. Google Analytics is free, and once you sign up for your free Google Analytics account, you can add your tracking code right here. So once you have this all set up the way you want, go ahead at the top here and click on Save All Changes. Now note that if you're using the text title and the site description, that it says Enable Text-Based Site Title and Tagline. Set up the title and tagline in the General Settings screen. So I am going to click on General Settings to set up my site title and my tagline. So the site title is a domain, which I'm pretty good with. That looks good to me. But the tagline by default is just another WordPress website, which is not probably the best tagline to have. So at minimum, you should come to this page and just delete this altogether. I, however, am going to include a tagline. So I'm going to call it Art and Photography Around Mexico and Brazil. Because this website, I'm just going to be selling art products, and I'm going to be showcasing photos from travels around Mexico and Brazil, and it's going to be mostly focused on art and photography, and I am going to sell some art in this hypothetical website that I'm building for a art photography business. So here I have art and photography around Mexico and Brazil as a tagline. Then I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom here and click on Save Changes to save my changes. Now when I go up to visit the site by clicking on Visit Site, you see that here is the name, the site title, and the tagline. However, it's really dark and I cannot see it on top of this brown background. So I need to change the color. So to change the color, I'm going to go to Dashboard, and then I'm going to go back to Bureau, and then here underneath Text Title, I have the colors that I can choose. So I am going to click on this color block here, and it gives me a really nice palette of colors I can choose. I'm just going to make it white, since white will look more easily readable on the dark background. And then I'm going to do the same thing for site description. I'm going to click on this color block and I'm going to drag it up to where it's white. White, by the way, is this number here. It's 6 F's in a row. F, 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 F. So there we go. And then I'm going to click on Save All Changes to save the changes. And now let's take a quick look by going to Visit Site. And now I can see it a lot better, so that's good. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to add the slider here. We'll go back to the menu in just a few moments, but it says please add some slides in order to display the slider correctly. So let's add a few slides. I'm going to go to the dashboard, and I am going to go to Bureau right here. And here you'll notice that on the left-hand side there's some homepage options that you can select. So the first one here says homepage slider, so I am going to click on homepage slider. You want to make sure that it says enable slider, enable the slider on the homepage. You want to make sure that this is checked. Then just below you can choose how many entries or how many slides you want to have displayed. I am just going to display 2, so I'll change it to 2. And then you can specify whether you want to hover over the slideshow, if you want a pause to happen when you're hovering over the slide, how many slide intervals, the animation speed, and things like that. I'm going to leave this all as the default. The only thing I'm making sure is that this is checked that says enable the slider on the home page. Then you want to come to the top here, and once again you want to click on Save All Changes. Once the options have been updated, now we need to add some slides. So I'm going to go over to the left-hand side here where it says Slides, and I'm going to click on Slides. And then at the top, I'm going to click on this button here that says Add New to add a new slide. So here you can give your slide a title if you'd like, as well as a short description. And then you want to scroll down here to where it says Bureau Custom Settings, and you want to add a slide image. So I'm going to click on this link here that says Upload. And then from my computer, I'm going to click on Select Files, and then I'll find the file. It's in my Bureau Images folder, so I'm going to click on that. And the first image that I want to include in the slider is this art image right here, so I'll select that and click on Choose. Then once the image has been uploaded, I'm just going to scroll down here and I'm going to give it a title and an alternative text. It's always good to give an image a title and alternative text, so I'll add one in right there. Also note that the dimensions are 1037 wide by 700 pixels tall. So for this to display really nicely on the home page, because it will be such a large image, it's generally a better idea to upload a larger image rather than a smaller image so that it can at least resize correctly on the home page. So you can use whatever dimensions you want, but probably the best dimensions would be at least 1000 pixels wide and about 600 or 700 pixels tall. So I am going to be using 1037 pixels wide and 700 pixels tall, and then we'll see how that resizes on the home page. So just again, make sure that the image is large enough so that when it is resized on the home page, it looks really clear and crisp. Okay, so once you have your title and your alternative text, you can scroll down here. I'm going to click on Full Size, and then I'm going to click on this button here that says Use as Slide Image. Okay, so here we have our slide image. Now when you scroll down just a little bit, you can see that you can also add a URL so that, for example, on the home page, if you want someone to click on the slide and be sent to another page on your website, you can add that URL right here. So for example, if I wanted someone to click on this image on the home page and be directed to the shop page, then I would add a URL here for the shop page. So I will just add that there like that. And then I'm going to click on this box here so that I do not have any right or left sidebars. So I've clicked on this full width box right here. And then I'm just going to scroll back up to the top and click on Update to update this slide. Okay, so the post has been updated. Now I'm going to add another slide by clicking on Add New once again. Now this is the second slide that will be featured on the home page, and as we did before, I'm not going to add a title or a description because I don't want any words to be displayed under the image on the home page. If you'd like to do that though, of course, add a title and add a description. Scrolling down, I'm going to scroll down right down below, and as we did before, I'm going to select a new slide image by clicking on Upload. Then I'll click on Select File from my computer. And now the next image I want to include is this one right here, 1470A. So I'm going to select the image and click on Choose. And then once again, once the image has been uploaded, now I want to give this also a title and an alternative text. So I'll just add it in right there. Let's see, we'll call this Art in Tulum again. Actually, Art in Mexico. And I will add the alternative text right here. Now note that the dimensions now are a little bit less than they were in the previous example. The other one was 1000 wide. This one's 920. I think this should be okay, so I'm going to keep it as like that, 920 by 620. That should be okay as well. So then once again, I'm going to scroll down, make sure this is the full size right here selected, 920 by 621, and then I'm going to click on Use this image to use the image. And here we have the image displayed. So once again, if you want to add a URL to this particular image, feel free to go ahead. I'm not going to do that this time, but I am going to click on this layout here, this wide layout right here, this box. Then I'm going to come up to the top and click on Publish to publish this slide. Now let's take a look at the home page to see what it looks like. I'm going to go up to the top, click on Visit Site, and now we can see the image is displayed on the home page, and our home page is starting to look a little bit better. So I've got my two images that are rotating here in this flex slider, and it looks like the next thing that we can take a look at is this menu bar right here. So there's a number of different pages that we've created. Let's go about creating some pages so that we can add them to our menu. So to create some pages, I'm going to go up to the top here and click on Dashboard. And then I'm going to come to the left-hand side and I'm going to click on Hover over Pages and click on All Pages. And here we can see all of the pages that have been added to our website. Now, these are all pages that WooCommerce added. So these are all the WooCommerce pages. So if you're not using WooCommerce, then you'll probably just have the sample page, which is the default page that comes with your WordPress installation. So to add a new page, you just want to come up to the top and click on Add New. The first page I think I'll add is the About page. So this will be a good page where you can just talk about your business or about you, your personal information for your website. So I'll just call it About. And I want this to be a full width page. I do not want to have any sidebars on this page. So on the right hand side where it says Page Attributes, I'm going to click on this default template and I'm going to select full width to use the full width template. That means there won't be any left or right sidebars. Next, we need to add some content to our About page. So I had just grabbed some demo content, so I'm just going to paste that content in right here, 2 paragraphs. And then I also want to add an image to this particular About page. So I'm going to place the cursor right where I want the image to be displayed, which is right above the first paragraph. And then I'm going to click on Add Media to add new media. Then I'm going to click on Upload Files and then select Files, and from the computer I'm going to choose my profile pic that I'd like to use. So the file that I want is this one, this pic2, so I'm just going to select that and click on Choose, and then the media will be uploaded to my site. So once again, it's always a good idea to include the title and the alternate text. So I'll just add that in right there, and then I'm going to click on Insert into Page, and now the image has been inserted into our About page. Now notice that we're on the text view right here. There's a visual tab and a text tab. The text tab is the behind the scenes code that WordPress is generating to format your content or add images or videos. When you click on this visual tab right here, then you'll see the actual what you see is what you get view of the content that you're adding. So it's always a good idea to know which view you're looking at, whether the visual tab or the text tab. Once again, the good news with WordPress is that you don't need to know any code. You simply can really just operate within the visual editor right here to create your content and format it. So here we see, here is my image. I'm going to click on it one more time. When I click on this image, you'll notice that you'll have two icons pop up. One is a delete icon that you can click on to delete the image altogether, or if you want to edit the image, you can do so by clicking on this button right here. So I'm going to click that really quick. I'm going to click on the edit image button, and then you'll notice that here it is left aligned. So if yours is currently saying none, then most likely the content is showing up, the text is showing up below the image. So in order to have the content text show up to the right of the image, you want to click on this left alignment right here. So once you have that, go ahead and click on Update to update the image. And then also note that when you're looking at the Visual tab, you have all of these 2 rows of icons. Now you may have only one row of icons, and if you only are seeing one row, then you need to click on this link right here, this icon called the kitchen sink. So when I hover over it, you'll get a tooltip that says show or hide kitchen sink, and when I click on that, then I have 1 or 2 rows of formatting icons that pop up. So this works just like an email or any kind of word processing system. You simply want to highlight whatever it is you want to format like that, and then you want to just click on one of these formatting icons. Now you don't have to remember what all these icons are. If you just hover on top of it, you'll get a really cool little tooltip that will tell you what the icon does. So this one, for example, is bold. So when I click on B, now the text will bold. Then I can click on italics or strike through. I can create an ordered list or quotes and things like that. So I am just going to undo each of these, but here you can kind of explore what all of these different formatting icons do. So I'm going to leave it like that, and I'm going to scroll down. Then down below, once again, here where it says General Settings, just to play it safe as a double check, I'm going to click on this layout here, which is the full width layout with no sidebars. I've already kind of configured that here with the full width, so I shouldn't really have to do it 2 times, but I always do things twice and 3 times just to make sure it's set the way I want it to be set. So okay, when you're ready to go ahead and click on Publish to publish this page. Okay, so you can view the page if you'd like by clicking on View Page, or you can create a new page. In the essence of time, I'm not going to view the page right now. I'm simply going to add a new page by clicking on this link that says Add New. Now the next page that I want to create is a contact form page, so anyone can contact me directly through the website. So this page, I'm going to call it Contact. Now in order to set up the contact page, all you have to do is just give it a name right here. Then on the page attributes over here, once again, you want to click on Default Template, and you want to choose the Contact Form template. So I'm going to just click on Contact Form right there. And then once again, I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to click on this box here for the layout. That's the full layout with no sidebars, either on the left or right hand side. And I'm going to turn off comments on this particular page. I don't want any comments on my contact page, so I'm going to uncheck these 2 boxes. Now if you do not see discussion showing up right here, in order to see it, you want to go up to the top here, you want to click on Screen Options, and when you click on Screen Options, you should have a drop-down box with all of the different sections that you can display on your screen. So I have the discussion tab checked, and that is why I'm able to see it. But if yours is unchecked, then what you need to do is you need to check the discussion box so that you can see it down below. So I have it checked. Once it's checked, go ahead and click on Screen Options once again to collapse this menu. And then when you scroll down, you should be seeing now the discussion section right here. Once again, I've unchecked these because I don't want any comments on my contact form. I will save comments for the blog post. So once you have that set up with the contact, with a title and the template set as contact form, go ahead and click on Publish to publish this page. Okay, the next page that I like to create is a blog index page. So once again, I'm going to click on Add New at the top. And to create the blog index page, this is not a blog post, this is actually the page where all of your excerpts of your blog posts will be all displayed on the same page. So to create the blog index page, I'm going to give this a name of blog, and then once again in the template section I'm going to click on blog right here as the blog template. Then I'm going to scroll down, and just as we did before, I'm going to uncheck discussion. So I'm going to turn off discussion on the blog index page. I'm going to click on this wide layout right here, this full width layout, and then I'm going to come up to the top and I'm going to click on publish to publish the blog index page. Okay, so let's take a look now at our website. I'm going to go up to the top and I'm going to click on visit site to visit the site. And now you can see that all of these different pages have been added. I have the about page, the contact page, and the blog page, but it's not looking really that organized, and I really don't want this particular menu item to begin with. I really want to have that top menu navigation area at the top, and I want to remove this second navigation altogether. So this particular theme, the Bureau theme, comes with two menu navigation areas. There's this one right here, and then there's going to be another top menu navigation at the top. So let's go ahead now and start configuring the menu navigation area. To do that, I'm going to go over to the left-hand side, hover over the website name, and you can go directly to the menus by clicking on menus right here, or you can click on dashboard, and then you can come down to appearance, hover over appearance, and click on menus. So here we are in the menu screen, and you can see that we don't have any menus set up yet, which is why all of the pages are displaying haphazardly on the home page. So let's create some menus. Now remember, we have two menu items for this particular theme. So the first one I'm going to call top menu, and then I'm going to click on this button here to create the menu. And once you create the menu, then you'll notice that there is a theme location section here that says your theme supports two menus. Select which menu appears in each location. So we need to create two menus. So I have the top menu. The second one, I'm going to click on this plus right here. And then I'm going to give this a name of simply menu, and then I'm going to click on the create menu button. So now I have my two different menus. The next step is we need to choose the location of these menus. So the primary menu is the one that we just saw on the home page, and that's actually the one that I do not want to use. But in order to make this work, I actually do have to select a location here for the primary menu. So I'm going to click on this box here, and I'm going to call this menu. And then for the top menu, I'm going to call this top menu, and then I'm going to click on save. So now when I go to the home site, to the home page by clicking on visit site, now you can see the menu has been removed, namely because we've created the menus but we haven't added any pages to the menus. So let's go back to the menus page by hovering over the website and clicking on menus, and then I am going to add the pages that I would like to be displayed in the top menu. So I'm going to click on top menu here, and then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to choose my pages right here in the pages area. So I'm going to click on view all so I can see all of my pages, and the ones that I want to have displayed are the about page, the blog page, the contact page, and then let's see what else we have. I also want the shop page to be displayed. And finally, I also want a home page. So I'm going to create the home page separately. I'm not sure exactly what this is all about. So I'll just click on Add to Menu. So I've added these to the menu, and then I'm going to create the home menu item here by creating a custom link, and I'll simply call this the URL of the domain. The home page is just the domain name, and then the label I'll give it is home, and then I'll click on Add to Menu. Then if you'd like to reorganize the organization of these and which one displays first, you can just drag these up and around however you'd like. So I'd like the home page to be first, I think I'd like the shop page to be next, and then the blog page, and then the about page and the contact page. So this is the order that I'd like for these menu items. I'm going to go ahead and click on Save Menu to save the menu. So now when we go up to the site and click on Visit Site, now we see now our menu is starting to come together. So let's see, the other page that I would like to create is a portfolio page because as mentioned at the beginning of this video, this would be a really great design for anyone who has a lot of images to share with the world, or if you're using images to promote or sell your products and services. So let's create a portfolio page right now. So I'm going to go up to the top. You see here at the top toolbar there's another plus new menu item here. Now WordPress gives you a lot of different ways to do the same thing. We've already seen a couple ways to add a page. This is another way. So I'm going to hover over plus new, and this time I'm going to click on page. And actually I should add that in order to create a really nice lightbox display on our portfolio page, we need to have a plugin. The plugin that I love to use is called Jetpack, and so let's go ahead and add the Jetpack plugin first before we create this page. So I'm going to come down to the left hand side, hover over plugins, and then I'm going to click on add new. And then here on the install plugin screen, I'm going to click on or add Jetpack, do a search for Jetpack and click on search plugins. Jetpack is the first one that pops up, Jetpack by WordPress. This is the one that I want, so I'm going to click on install now. Are you sure you want to install this plugin? Yes, okay. Okay, so Jetpack has been successfully installed. The next step is we want to activate the plugin by clicking on activate plugin. Once the plugin has been added and activated, the next step is, it says your Jetpack is almost ready, but a connection to WordPress.com is needed. So we need to go ahead and we need to connect to WordPress.com by clicking on connect to WordPress.com. From here we need to connect the website with the plugin Jetpack and with WordPress.com. So the good news is that WordPress.com is free, so if you don't have a WordPress.com account yet, go ahead and click on need an account and you can set up a free WordPress.com account. So I already have an account, so I'm going to add my username and password here, but just to show you what that looks like, when you click on need an account, then it will send you to a page like this, which when you click on get started, you should end up on a page here that says get started with WordPress.com by filling out this simple form. So most likely, since you're setting up your website, you really don't need a blog address down here. So there's a link over here at the very bottom, very small, that says if you don't want a blog, you can sign up for just a username. So you can click on this link here, and when I click on that link, here you see you can just add your email address and create a username and a password, and then you can click on sign up to sign up for a WordPress.com account. So once you have this free WordPress.com account set up, then you can go back to your Jetpack screen here and enter in your username and password and click on Authorize Jetpack to authorize the plugin. So I'm just going to add in my username and my password right here and click on Authorize Jetpack. Okay, so Jetpack is ready to go. You're fueled up and ready to go. So as it says here, the features below are now active. Click the Learn More buttons to explore each feature. So there's a couple different Jetpack features that I always love to include in my WordPress websites. The first one is, let's see, let me scroll down here, is the Jetpack comments. So I'm going to click on Activate to activate Jetpack comments. And once Jetpack comments have been activated, the other one that I really like is called sharing, the most super duper sharing tool on the interwebs. Share content with Facebook, Twitter, and many more. This particular feature in Jetpack will enable your visitors to easily share your blog posts and other content on the social web, either by Facebook, Twitter, or some other social network. So to set this up, you want to click on this button here that says Configure, and then you want to scroll down and you want to choose which sharing buttons you want to select. So most likely you're seeing in it looks something like this. I've already kind of activated this, but you'll see a whole list of available services right here in the top listing here, and you can just drag them into the enabled services, as it says here, drag and drop available services here. So you want to drag, for example, most likely Facebook is a good one, Google+, let's see, I'll just drag it here. Looks like Facebook didn't take. Let me try it again. Facebook. I'm going to also add Twitter, so visitors can easily share via Twitter, and I will add LinkedIn. Now this box here is the More box, and most likely when you first install this, this box will be empty. So once again, you just want to take the icons that you want to be included in the More button, and you just want to drag them into this box right here. So I'll add Pinterest, Tumblr, Reddit, and I think I'll also add email. You can add the other ones as well if you'd like. Once you have the services that you'd like to enable set in either of these two sections, go ahead and scroll down and you can see a live preview of what the actual icons will look like on your page or on your post. Finally, here it says show buttons on, and you need to select where you want these buttons to be displayed. I always like to show these only on the post page. I don't like to show these like all over the website, so I'm just going to click on post, but if you want to show them in other sections of the website, feel free to check those boxes. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click on save changes to save the changes. Okay, so all of the sharing settings have been set up. Now let's go back to Jetpack, because the reason that we included or added Jetpack in the first place was because we wanted to create a lightbox display on a portfolio page. So I'm going to click on Jetpack right now. And there is a carousel feature here, which is really cool, and it gives a really great lightbox display for images. So it's right over here. I'm going to click on Activate, right where it says Carousel. I'm going to click on Activate. And now the carousel has been activated. So, all right, we're good to go on Jetpack. Feel free to check out any of these other features, and if you'd like to add them, by all means, go ahead and activate other features as well. So going back to our page, I'm going to go ahead and click on Pages here. And then I'm going to scroll down, and it looks like we didn't actually create the portfolio page. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Add New to create a new page. And I'm going to call this Portfolio right here, Portfolio. And then in this box here, I am going to add my media. Now before I do that though, on the template over here, I'm going to click on Default Template. And for this particular one, there is an image gallery template you can use here, but I actually prefer using the Jetpack carousel. So I'm not going to use this template, but I will use the full width one. So I'll click on full width. That way there will be no sidebar on the left or right hand side. It'll be just the portfolio with the images will show up. So I have full width set up right there. Next, I am going to place the cursor where I would like to add the gallery, and then I'm going to come up to the top here where it says Add Media, and I'm going to click on Add Media. Next, I want to create a gallery, so this time I'm going to click on this link that says Create Gallery. And then I'm going to click on this button here that says Upload Files to upload files to my gallery. So I'm going to click on Select Files, and then I'm going to find my files. So my files are located in this folder, so I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to grab all of these images. I want all of these to be displayed on the portfolio page. So I'm going to highlight all of them, click on Choose, and one by one they'll start to upload to my WordPress website. So we can see here on the right hand side that they are slowly uploading. These are rather large files, and we can see down below here there are 12 selected files. So once all the images have been uploaded and you've added your title and alternate text for each one of these 12 images, or however many images you're uploading to the gallery, go ahead and click on this button here that says Create a New Gallery. The next screen is the Edit Gallery screen, and you can drag and drop to reorder the images however you'd like to have them displayed. So for example, if I want to have this one above, I can just drag that to the top, and I can rearrange any of these however I want to have them displayed. On the right hand side, you see the gallery settings, and you see that right now I have it set for 3 columns going across. So that is what I want. I want to have 3 columns, so 3 different images on each row, so I'll leave it like that, and then you can select what type of gallery you want, either a thumbnail grid or a slideshow. I'll keep it at thumbnail grid, and I will also, let's see, I'll choose, I'm not going to bother too much with this, I'll just leave it as is, because with the lightbox, the images, when you click on them, will actually be opening up into a lightbox. So the cool thing with the Jetpack plugin is that when you click on the images, someone will not be sent to a separate page. They'll actually stay on the portfolio page, and then a lightbox will open up right on that page with a larger version of the image. So I'm going to leave it like that, and then I'm going to click on this button here that says Insert Gallery. Okay, so here's the gallery on the visual tab view, so we see it right here. And when I scroll down, once again, I do not want to have any comments on this page, so I'm going to uncheck these two boxes and I'm going to click on this layout here, the wide layout, so that there's no left or right sidebar. And then I'm going to scroll up to the top right here and I'm going to click on Publish to publish this page. Okay, so once the page has been published, let's go ahead and take a look at it by clicking on View Page. Okay, so here is the portfolio page. It's looking okay. It's not exactly how I had in mind. So I actually want to make these to be larger thumbnail images. They're kind of small right now. So let's go ahead and adjust the thumbnail image sizes of each of these different images. Note, however, that when I do click on any of the images, it does open up into a really cool lightbox display right on the portfolio page. So to change the thumbnail size images, you need to go up to the dashboard by clicking on Dashboard. And then I'm going to click on Bureau right here, Bureau. The next step here is I'm going to take a look at the dynamic images. So I'm going to click on dynamic images right here. And you see that there's a number of different dynamic image resizing options right here. I'm going to leave it as a default. All of these things are checked, but I do want to take a special note at the thumbnail settings. So I'm going to click on this right here. And scrolling up, we see that the thumbnail image dimensions are currently 100 wide by 100 high. So this is the part that needs to change. So the thumbnail image dimensions that I want, actually I need to change this in two separate sections. I've already tested this out and it worked really well, so I'm just going to add these numbers in here. Feel free to experiment if you'd like with the image dimensions if you have something else in mind, but I'm going to put 800 here for the width and I'm going to put 300 for the height. I know that's quite large and that is not how it's going to display on the portfolio page, but I'm just going to set that right like that, and I'm going to set the thumbnail alignment to center right here. And then once I have that set up, I'm going to click on this button here that says Save All Changes. Now I'm not quite done yet. I need to also adjust the thumbnail settings in the Settings tab. So I'm going to scroll down here and click on Settings, and then I'm going to click on Media. So I'm hovering over Settings and I'm clicking on Media. And here you'll note that the thumbnail size by default is 150 by 150. So this is what I also need to change. I want to make it 300 by 300, and then I want to click on Save Changes at the bottom. Now you'll notice when you go to the portfolio page by clicking on All Pages and scrolling down to the portfolio page, I'm going to hover over Portfolio and I'm just going to click on View. You'll notice that the thumbnail images have not yet changed. So the reason for this is because we changed the thumbnail size settings. However, we need to regenerate the thumbnails and reproduce them all over again. So to regenerate the thumbnails, I'm going to add a special plugin. So I'm going to go to the dashboard and I'm going to go down to plugins and click on Add New to add a new plugin. And this plugin is called Regenerate Thumbnails. So then I'm going to search for this plugin. It's the first one that pops up, and I'm going to click on Install Now to install the plugin. Are you sure you want to install this plugin? Yes. Okay. And then we need to activate the plugin by clicking on the Activate Plugin link. Okay, so the plugin has been activated. Now we actually have to go through the process of regenerating all the thumbnails that are included on the images on the portfolio page. So I'm going to go over to Media over here and click on Media. And here I have a list of all of the thumbnails. I'm just going to click on this box here, which will select all of them. And I'm going to scroll down here. And it looks like I want to include all of them except for these last three. These two, actually I don't want my picture either. So these images I don't want to regenerate the thumbnails for, but I do want to regenerate the thumbnails for the 12 images that are included in the portfolio photo page. So we have them selected right here. Then I'm going to come up here and do a bulk action by clicking on bulk action, and you can see now there's a new link, a new option here that says Regenerate Thumbnails. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to click on Apply to apply this Regenerate Thumbnails feature. And here we can see one by one, each of the different images will be regenerated. The thumbnail image will be regenerated. Okay, once all the thumbnails for the images have been regenerated, now let's go take a look at the portfolio page by clicking on Pages. And then I'm going to scroll down once again to the portfolio page and click on View. And now we see now the thumbnail images are much better. They're much larger and they're all aligned one by one. So that looks so much better. And when I click on one of them one by one, they do open up into this really great Lightbox display. Okay, so we have our portfolio page set up, but we do need to add it to our menu navigation area right here. So let's go to the menu page. I'm going to go over to the website name, hover over the website name, and this time I'm going to click on Menus to go directly to the menu page. And then we can see I have a new page here called Portfolio. I'm going to click on that and scroll down, and I'm going to click on Add to Menu. Now I'm just going to drag this up because I want it to be displayed right after the shop page right here. So I want this order, and then I'm going to click on Save Menu to save the menu. Okay, once the menu has been updated, now when I go to visit the site by clicking on Visit Site, now we see here is the portfolio page listed right here at the top. So it's looking good so far. The next step is we want to add some blog posts, those 3 different recent blog posts right here at the bottom. So let's do that now. I'm going to go up to the top and click on Dashboard. Then on the left-hand side, I'm going to click on Bureau. And then on the Theme Options page of the Bureau theme, right here, there's a link that says Homepage Recent Posts. So I'm going to click on this. Now we need to enable the Recent Post panel on the home page. So I'm going to click on this, and I want 3 entries to show up right there. So that's good. And we'll come back to this Recent Post tags in just a moment. So here we go. I am going to just click on Save All Changes to save the changes. And now we need to actually create some blog posts so that it shows up on the home page. So I'm going to go over to Posts and click on Posts. And we can see here I have 1 default blog post already set up, but I need to add at least 3 more. So I'm going to create a new blog post by clicking on Add New. So here on the Add New Post screen, I want to start by giving this new blog post a title. So I'll call this Shop Travel Deals. And then I also want to give it some content here, some text. So I've just copied something, some demo content. So I'll just paste that in here. And then on the right hand side I need to choose a category. So I want this to be showing up as a featured blog post on the home page. So I'm going to create a new category here called Featured. So I just click on the link here that says Add New Category, and I'm going to call it Featured, and then I'm going to click on this button here that says Add New Category. So now we see this particular blog post will be included in the featured category. You can also create a category called blog, doing the same thing, clicking on Add New Category, adding blog, and clicking on Add New Category, and then just click on blog right here to have this also included in the blog category. Then I'm going to scroll down here, and the next thing is I need to give this a featured image so that it will show up on the home page with an image. So I'm going to click on Set Featured Image, and then I'm going to click on Upload Files to upload an image and click on Select Files. Then I'm going to choose my file right here by clicking on where it is located. And this is the file that I want, the Sand Labyrinth home image right there. So I'm going to choose it by clicking on Choose. And then I am going to give this a title. I'll just call it Shop Travel, and once again I'm going to give it an alternative text right there. Now note that this dimension is 299 by 170, so whatever image you would like it to be, feel free to provide whatever image size you want, but about 300 wide, 300 pixels wide by 170 tall is a good size for what I would like to do on this page. So I'm going to keep it at about 300 wide by 170 pixels tall, and then I'm going to click on this button here that says Set Featured Image. Then I also need to add an excerpt, so I'm going to go grab a little bit, the first sentence at least, right here. So I have a short little excerpt, and I'm going to scroll down right here, and I'm going to add the excerpt right in this box here that says excerpt. Now if you don't see this screen, this excerpt section right here, once again go up to the screen options, click on screen options, and you want to make sure that excerpt is checked right here. And then you want to collapse screen options by once again clicking on screen options. And when that excerpt box is checked, you should see a box down here that says excerpt. So I'm just going to add a short excerpt of the blog post right there. Then I'm going to scroll up to the top. You can add any tags you would like as well. So I guess I could also add tags right here. So I'm going to add the featured tag right here and click on add. And then I'm going to scroll up and click on publish. Okay, so this was a really simple blog post. I have 2 more to add for the home page, so let's create 1 more. I'm going to go up to the top and click on Add New. Once again on the Add New Post screen, I'm going to start by giving the blog post a title, so I'll call this Shop for Art. And I'm going to give it some text by pasting in some demo content right there. On the right hand side, I'm going to click on Featured and Blog to add this to the blog and featured categories, and I'm going to give it a tag of Featured once again and click on Add. Then what I need to do down below is I need to set the featured image. So I'm going to click on Set Featured Image, and then I'm going to click on Upload Files, and then I'm going to click on Select Files to select the file. Next I need to select the file, so I am going to select this one, Art at Home, and then click on Choose. And then as I did before, I'm going to give this a title and an alternative text. So I'll just call this Shop for Art, and I'll do the same thing for the alternative text. And then you want to click on Set Featured Image to set the featured image. Okay, once the image has been set for the featured image, now let's come up and let's add an image right above this particular text. So once again, I'm going to put the cursor where I want the image to be displayed and click on Add Media. Then in the media library, I'm going to select the image that I'd like. So I'd like to choose this particular one with the 900 by 4095 dimension. So I'm just going to add that. And once again, I'm just going to give this a new title and a new alternative text, and then I want to add this not left aligned, actually I want this to be center aligned, so I'm going to click on center here, and I do want the full size right there, that looks good, and I want to link it to nothing, so I'll leave it as none. Next I'm just going to click on this button that says Insert into Post. Okay, so here is my image. I'm going to scroll down. The next thing that I'd like to do is I'd like to add a call to action button. So to do that, I'm going to place the cursor where I want the button to be displayed, so I'll add it right after this text. Then I'm going to scroll up, and there's a button here for Woo Themes that when you click on this icon, for example, you'll get all these different buttons and other features you can add to your content. So I want to add a button, so I'm going to click on Button. And here on the title tag, I'm going to click on Shop for Art. So I'll just put Shop for Art right here as the title of the button. Then you can give it an optional link. I'm going to give it the link to the shop page. And then you can decide what size of button you'd like to have. So I'll choose the large size here, and also you can choose a background color and a border color. So to keep this consistent, I'm going to add a yellow color. So I'm going to click on this color palette box right here. And I happen to know the color code, so I'm just going to paste that in there. It's a nice yellow that complements the rest of the colors on the site. So there is my color. I'm just going to click on the field here, and I'll just copy that, and I'll also add it to the border section right below. And then I'm going to scroll down. It looks like we're all good down there. Then at the top here, I'm going to click on this button here that says Insert to insert this call to action button. So here I have the button right here, the short code with the button. The last thing I want to do is I want to add a little gallery here. So actually I am going to, before I do that, before I add the gallery, I'm going to add a little excerpt right here, just as we did in the previous blog post. So I'm going to grab the first sentence right here, just the demo sentence. I'm going to add that in the excerpt section right here. And then I'm going to scroll up and I'm going to click on Save Draft to save the draft. Okay, now I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to add a short little gallery, a small gallery. So I'll just place the cursor where I want the gallery to be, and this time, just like we did before, I'm going to click on Add Media, Next, on the Insert Media screen, on the left-hand side, there's a link that says Create Gallery. So I'm going to click on Create Gallery. So here, now I can choose the images that I want in my gallery, and I'll just choose these 4 images right here. Then I'm going to click on this button here that says Create a New Gallery. And once again, you can reposition these or reorder them by simply dragging them and dropping them. Now on the right hand side, you'll notice it says 3 columns, but because I'm having 4 images, I actually only want 2 columns. So I'm going to click on 2 here to have 2 images right next to one another. And then I'm going to click on Insert Gallery to insert the gallery. So that looks a lot better. Here's my gallery placeholder. Now I'm going to come up to the top and I'm going to click on Publish to publish this blog post. Okay, so the post has been published. We have one more blog post that we need to add so that we can complete the 3 recent posts that will show up on the home page. So one more time, I'm going to click on Add New. And here on the Add New Post, I'm going to give this a title. I'll call this one Shop for Home. And then I'll give it some text right there. Then on the right-hand side, I'm going to choose the categories Blog and Featured. And I'm going to add it with a tag called Featured as well, just as I did before, and click on Add. Then I want to come down here and actually I want to create an excerpt. So I'll choose the first sentence as we did in the previous 2 examples. Take that sentence, add it to the excerpt section here, and finally I want to add a featured image. So I'm going to click on Set Featured Image, and then I'm going to click on Upload Files, and then select Files. And then scrolling down, the file that I want is this one, so I'm going to select it and click on Choose to choose this particular image. Finally, we can add a title and an alternative text, so I'll just call this Shop for Home and add that as the alternative text as well. And then we want to add this button we want to click called Set Featured Image. Once the image has been set, just come up to the top here and click on Publish to publish this post. Okay, now the last thing that we need to do, note that the tag we've been using for each of these recent posts or each of these posts is featured. These are the particular posts that I want to have displayed on the home page. So I'm going to go over to the Bureau theme options right here. And right here where it says Home Recent Posts, I'm going to click on this link right here. And you see here it says Recent Post Tag. So we've already activated this box to add the Recent Post panel to the home page. But here we have to specify so that when you add more blog posts down the line, if you leave this blank, then those 3 images that we've added, those 3 blog posts will get overridden by the more recent post. So in order to make sure that the home page stays exactly the way I want it with those exact blog posts, I'm going to add the tag that I've given them, which in this case is featured. So this is the tag of those 3 blog posts that I would like to always be displayed on the home page. So I'm going to add that there, and then I'm going to click on Save All Changes to save the changes. Finally, I'm going to go up to the left-hand side here and click on Visit Site to check out the site. Okay, so the site is looking good so far. Here is the slider. We have our menu navigation area, our blog or website title and tagline. Then I have my 2 rotating slider images, and here are the 3 recent blog posts that I've selected. So note down below we have this footer. Let's take care of this now. This color is not really going with the rest of the colors on the site. So you see I have a dark navigation bar here, and then it's brown, and then I have this kind of off tan color here. I don't really like it very much, so I want this color to be the same color as the brown right above it. So let's go ahead and customize the CSS style code here at the bottom. So the first step in changing the style of the bottom footer is to figure out what style you want to change it to. So I actually want the same style of this brown. So I need to figure out what this brown is and what image this is that's creating this kind of wood pattern right here. So I'm using Google Chrome, the Google Chrome browser, and with Google Chrome there's a tool for web developers called Inspect Element. So there's probably many ways to get to Inspect Element. I happen to know of 2 ways. One way is if you're on a Mac, you can click on the control button when you're hovered over here. You want to hold down the control button and you want to click on the mouse, and then this window pops up and you can click on inspect element down below. The other way that you can get to inspect element within Google Chrome is you want to go up to this button here, these three lines. If you hover over it, you'll get a tooltip that says customize and control Google Chrome. So I'm just going to hover over that and click on it, and when I click on it you'll get a menu bar that pops up, and then I'm going to scroll down and you want to find tools. When you hover over tools you'll get another set of options here, and one of them is developer tools. So I am going to click on developer tools right here, and then you'll see this is the developer tools with the inspect elements, all the different things that you can use to inspect each element. So there's lots of code here. You don't have to worry too much about this. I'm actually going to post this code as well just to keep everything really simple, but I want to show you how I go about figuring out what code to use. So I am going to scroll down here, and I actually want to find this brown right here. So I'm just going to once again click on control and then click on inspect element, and it will go directly to the section that I need. So we see right here it's this content wrapper right here, and right on the right hand side, I'm going to bring this over. So when I hover over this you can see that the content wrapper is being selected, and when I click on it right here where it says content wrapper, you'll see on the right hand side here it says content wrapper background, and there's a number with a color code, and then there's a URL with this particular file name with the background title. So this is the actual brown wood tile that is showing up on the background right here. So that is exactly what I want for this footer. So to capture this, I'm also going to click on this button right here, and you'll see here's the background image right here as well. So I am going to just copy this right here. I just copied this image URL, and I'm going to scroll down to right here, and I'm going to place my cursor right there, and I'm just going to paste this image URL right there. Now I'm sure there's many ways that you can go about it, but this is the way that I found is easiest for me. So here is the code that I need to copy, so I'm just going to copy all of this, select it and copy it. And then I need to apply this same custom CSS code for the footer. So I need to figure out what this footer code is down here. So once again, I'm going to come to the bottom, I'm going to put the cursor over the element I want to inspect, and then I'm going to hold down the control key and click on my mouse and click on inspect element. And here we see that it looks like it is the footer right here. So let's take a look at this. It's the footer, but we notice that the footer has a little bit of a section showing up here. So actually I might want to apply this to the entire body section. So I'm going to click on body, and here we see here it is. So when I click on body, here is this background color that is being displayed in the footer. Now when I uncheck this, you'll see that it turns white from the gray color. So this is the area that I need. I actually need this body, and there's a space, and there's an opening bracket, and I need to put the code, the background code here. I need to change the background code of the body. So let's go ahead and do that in the website right now. So here I am back on the website. I'm going to go up to the dashboard and click on dashboard. And then here on the WooDojo link right here, when I hover over WooDojo, you may remember that we had added previously the custom CSS feature functionality within the WooDojo toolkit. So this is when I'm going to actually use that. So I'm going to hover over WooDojo, and now I'm going to click on Custom CSS HTML. And here it says add custom CSS code to your website. So first I need to check this box to enable it, and then here I need to add the custom CSS code. So once again it's body, and then there's an opening bracket, and then I'm going to paste the code in right here, and I already have my closing bracket right here. So the other thing is, of course, for anyone who's watching, you have a different domain than me, so you will not need my domain. That won't work for you. So I'm going to delete that part, and I'm just going to start it with wp-content/themes/buro, buro/images/bg-tile.jpg, and then this is all in parentheses. So let's see how this works. I will post this code within the video, so don't worry if you can't read it very well. I'll make sure that everyone can see it. Then you want to come down to the bottom here and you want to click on Save Changes to save the changes. Okay, once the custom CSS settings have been updated, let's go check it out now by clicking on Visit Site. And now when we scroll down, we'll see that the entire footer is now the right color. The only catch is that this part has this background is not how I want it to be, and I also want to change the footer content text in general anyway. So let's go ahead and change this by going up to the top and clicking on Dashboard. Then I want to go click on Buro and I want to click on Theme Options. And on the left hand side I want to click on Footer Customization right here. And then I want to scroll down and I want to click on Enable Custom Footer to activate the custom text below that I'm going to add. So I'm going to click on that and then I'm going to add some custom text. Okay, so I added a copyright with the copyright symbol, the C with the circle around it, and that particular code that you need is that and symbol followed by COPY, copy. There's no space between the and the copy. It's simply and then COPY, no spaces, and then I have 2013 and the name of my website. Then I'm going to come down here to the bottom and click on Save All Changes to save the changes. Okay, so now let's go up to the top and check it out once again. I'm going to click on Visit Site, and then I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, and now we see that background content, first of all of the content has been changed, and that background ribbon or background color has also been removed. So that looks so much better. So okay, the home page is pretty much the way I want it to look. Let's take a look at that Shop for Art blog post that we created. I'm going to click on this. And here we see I have my image and I have my text and my call to action button, and then here we see I also have my small little gallery. So when I click on each one of these, it opens up into the Lightbox as we expected. So that is really cool. I love this Lightbox. It's like really nice. Okay, now also take a note that there's this section here that's empty, so we should probably include some widgets on here. Let's include some widgets, a widget sidebar. Also note, before we move on to that, here are all the sharing buttons, so anyone who comes to the site can easily share your content to Google+, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or some other social network. And you have your bio section here with your image. And then there's a section here where anyone can leave a comment on your blog post. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to add the widget section right here. So let's add some widgets. I'm going to go up to the top and click on Dashboard. I can also click on widgets directly, so I guess I'll do that. I'll click on widgets. And here on the right hand side you can see the primary widget area is right here. So I am not going to add any widgets to the home left or right or any of the footer sections. I'm going to keep the footer pretty clean, so I'm not going to add anything there, but I will add some widgets to the primary widget sidebar. So the ones that I'd like to add, first of all, is I'd like to add some social icons to my website, all my different social networks, I should say. So let's add a plugin that I really love. It's called Simple Social Icons. So I'm going to go to Plugins, click on Add New, and I'm going to search for this. It's called Simple Social Icons. And I'm going to click on Search Plugins. And then here it is at the top. I'm going to click on Install Now to install this. Are you sure you want to install it? Yes. Okay, successfully installed Simple Social Icons. I'm going to click on Activate Plugin to activate the plugin. And once the plugin has been activated, now we need to go back to the widget section. So I'm going to hover over Appearance and click on Widgets. And here on the widget screen, now I need to find the Simple Social Icons widget. So here it is right here. I'm just going to drag it up to the top right-hand side under the primary sidebar right here. And then I'm going to give it a title, Connect on the Web. And then I'll keep all of these default settings the way they are. That works well for me, but I am going to change the background color and the background hover color to a color that will better match the website. So I already know that the color code that I want, the yellow color code, is this code, and I will post this as well. If you can't read it, no worries. But that's the color that I want, and then you just want to add some of your social networks that you'd like to have icons for. So I want YouTube, and I also want to have Twitter, and finally I also want to add my Google Plus as well. So I'll add Google Plus. Once you've added in all the different social networks that you'd like icons for, come to the bottom and click on Save to save the settings. Then I'm going to click on Close to collapse that box. Now, keeping in mind that this is also an e-commerce website, of course, if you don't have any items, once again, you don't have to use it for e-commerce, but the cool thing about this particular theme is that it does have built-in e-commerce functionality. So I'm going to take advantage of that by coming down here. I'm going to find the WooCommerce product search widget. So here it is right here, and I'm going to grab that and I'm going to add that to my sidebar at the top so that anyone can easily add products or find products when they're on the website. So I'll add that right there, and I'll just say search products and click on save, and then I'll click on close. And I'm also going to add the featured products or recent products widget as well. So here's the WooCommerce recent products. I'm going to add that to the top also. And I'll just name it recent products. I'll add 3 products since I have 3 products, and I'll click on save. And the last thing I want to do is I want to add the price filter for WooCommerce. So here is the WooCommerce price filter. So I'm going to add that as well, and then I'll say search by price. Okay, and then I'll click on save, and now when we go to check out the website by clicking on visit site and then clicking on the blog index page, here we see we have our blog index, but the sidebar is not showing up. So we need to edit this page by clicking on edit page, and then we want to scroll down to the bottom, and we had formerly clicked or selected this wide full width layout, but instead this time I want the sidebar to show up on the right hand side. So I'm going to click on this third one here for the layout, which shows the content and then a sidebar on the right, and then I'll come up to the top and click on update to update the blog page. Now when I click on view page, we see now we have our different blog posts, and on the right hand side we have our sidebar. Now note that the featured products are not showing up right now because we haven't actually added any featured products. So let's go ahead and add some more, or add some featured products to our website. So to add featured products, I'm going to go to the top and click on dashboard. And then on the left hand side there's a link here for products, so I'm going to click on products. And then at the top I'm going to click on add product. And as we did with the blog posts and the pages, the first thing is we need to give our new product a product name. So I'll just call this art. And then I'm going to give it some text right here, just some demo text. Then I'm going to come down to the bottom here. It looks like I already had previously created some categories. So what you need to do if you have no categories here is you need to click on Add New Product Category. And then you want to add a category. I'll just call this Products. And then you want to click on Add New Product Category. So then you'll show that the item that you just added the category for will be in that particular category. So I actually don't want to add this in the product category. I do want to add it in the art category, so I'll just click on art right there. But here you can see that you can add your categories directly from the product page right here, and then click on this button here that says add new product category. So I also want to give it a tag, so I'll just call this art and click on add. And then I want to come down here and I want to set the featured image. So I'm going to click on set featured image, and then I'm going to click on upload files and select files. And here's my file right here, art product 1. So I'm going to click on open, and you can give this a title and an alternative text. So I'll just call it art and art right here, and then click on set featured image. Once the featured image has been set, you'll notice over here on the left-hand side you have some product data. So we have quite a few different options here. You can click on this and you can see all the different product types you can add. In this particular example, I'm simply going to add a simple product, which is just one price and one product, no variations. Just going to click on simple product and I'm going to give this a regular price of, say, $120. Now note that it says pounds. We'll change that in just a moment. So I'll leave it as 120 and I'm not going to put it on sale. Just leave it like that. Are there any attributes? If there are any attributes, you can add them here. I'm not going to add any attributes right now. I'm just going to keep it as a simple product with a regular price of $120. Then I'm going to come up to the top here and I'm going to click on Publish to publish this new product. Now when we click on View Product, by clicking on View Product, you'll note that it says $120, add to cart right here, and when I scroll down, here is the product description. So you may also want to include a short product excerpt right here. So to do that, I'm going to go back up to the top and click on Edit Product. And then I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here where it says, let's see, short product description, and I'll add a one-liner right there. Also note that currently we have a right-hand sidebar. I don't really want that on the product page. On the product page, I want someone to be completely focused on the product, and I don't want to have them distracted by a sidebar. So in this instance, I'm going to make the layout be this full width layout right here. Then I'm going to come up to the top and I'm going to click on Update to update this product. Now when I click on View Product, by clicking on View Product, now we see that number one, the image is a lot bigger, which is much better. I have my excerpt right here and the sidebar has been removed. So it's looking a lot better. So this is our first product. When we start to add more products, we'll also have a section down below that will say related products. So you can cross-sell or upsell products in the section below. So let's add a new product so we can see what that looks like. Also, keep in mind that when I click on this image, it opens up into a lightbox display so I can have a better view of the image. You can change the lightbox display thumbnail size by changing the settings both in the Buro theme options as well as under Settings, Media. And then when you do change the thumbnail size, always remember to click on Regenerate Thumbnails in the Media Library. So I covered that whole process earlier in this video, so I'm not going to do that again, but I just wanted to make a note in the event that you wanted the image here to be a larger size. So this looks good to me though. I especially like that this image is larger. So let's add another product. I'm going to go up to the top here, hover over plus new, and click on Products. And first I'm going to give it a product name. I'll call this Lanterns and Flower Pots. And then I'll give it some text right here. Then on the right hand side, I'll click on Art to add it to the Art product category, and I'll also give it a product tag of lanterns, and I'll click on Add. Then I want to scroll down and set the featured image by clicking on Set Featured Image. I'm going to click on Upload Files and then select Files. And then I'm going to add the product, let's see, right down here, Lanterns Product 2, and click on Open. Once again, you can give this a title if you'd like, Lanterns, and an alternative text, always a good idea. And then I'm going to click on Set Featured Image to set the featured image. So this time I'm going to create a variable product. It'll be a small lantern. I think these are lanterns. I'm going to call them lanterns. There's small ones and there's large ones. So I'm going to create a variable product by clicking on Variable right here. And then I'm going to start by clicking on Attributes right here. Then you want to click on the blue button that says Add, and I'm going to call this Size. The attribute name is going to be Size. Then you want to click on the values here. Note that it says enter some text or some attributes by pipe separating values. So what we need to do here for I'll make that wider so we can read it. When you want to add different values for the same attribute, you need to separate them with this symbol called a pipe symbol. And it looks like an L or a capital I. It's a vertical line. So I am going to call this small, and then I'm going to add the pipe value. The pipe value is located right above the return key. So you need to hold down your shift key, and right above the right-hand side enter or return key, there's a button, a key with a line. So that is called the pipe symbol. And I'll call this large. So I have two different values here, small and large. And then right here, there's two check boxes. Yes, I want to make this visible on the product page, and yes, I also want to use it for variations. So once you have those two things set, you have your attributes with your different attribute values, go ahead and click on Save Attributes. Once the attributes have been saved, the last step now is we need to click on Variations below. Then we need to click on Add Variation, and then you need to click the size. So I'm going to click on Small here, and I think I'll make the small price, I'll make that one, let's see, I'll make the small one 100, and let's see, I'm good to go there. And then I'm going to click another variation here by clicking on the blue button once again. And this time I'll select the size of large, and the large size I'm going to give it a regular price of $150. So you can see that I am adding different prices for different types of the same product. We have a small lantern and a large lantern. The small lantern is getting a price of 100, and the large lantern is getting a price of 150. So once you have that all set, the last step here is you need to select a default size. So I'm going to click on this button here, and I'll make small the default size. And then looks like we come down here, we can add a product short description. So I'll just add one line there. And as we did before, I do not want to have any left or right sidebars. So I'm going to click on this button here for the layout. It's the second square here. It's a full width page. So I'm going to make sure that's selected so there's no distracting sidebars on my product page. And then I'm going to come up to the very top, and I'm going to click on Publish to publish this product. Okay, so once the product has been published, we can view it by clicking on View Product. And here we have the image displayed, our title, our from price, and you can see the default size is set to small. And then if I want the large size, when I click on large, then the price goes to 150. So we see here it's small is 100, and here the large is 150. Also note that when I scroll down now, the related products section has begun to appear right below. So I'm going to do this one more time. I'm going to click on Plus New and Product. I'm going to add the new product. I'll call it Art Hand. And then I'm going to add some text here once again. I'll add it to the art category, and I'll call this Product Tag of Art, and I'll click on Add. And then lastly, I'm going to click on Set the Featured Image, and I'm going to grab an image from the media library. So here's the image that I want right there. I'm just going to click on that and click on Set Featured Image. And this one, I'm going to make it a simple product as well, and I'll just call this 150. Let's see, we'll make it 170. Okay, so there we go. Now at the bottom, I'll add a product short description, and I'll click on the layout, once again the full width layout, and come up to the top and click on Publish. So here we have our 3 different products we've added. Let's go check this one out by clicking on View Product. And here we can see we have our product with our 2 related products down below. Now note that this is in pounds. The next step is I want to change it from pounds to US dollars. So I'm going to go up to the top and click on Dashboard. Then I'm going to go to the WooCommerce settings screen by hovering over WooCommerce on the left and clicking on Settings. Now we see on the General Options tab right here, the base location is set as the United Kingdom, so I need to change that. I'm going to change it to the US, and I'm in California, so I'm going to click on US, California. Then I'm going to click on Currency, and I'm going to choose US dollars. All countries looks good, and then I'm going to scroll down below, and I'm going to click on Save Changes. Okay, once the settings have been saved, now the dollar sign should be displayed instead of the pound sign. Let's take a look at our other options here within WooCommerce. So the next thing is we need to set up shipping. So I'm going to click on the Shipping tab right here. And here we see the shipping has been enabled, and let's see, when I scroll down it looks like free shipping is currently the default, so I'm just going to make sure that's correct. So I'm just going to click on default here and click on Save Changes. Okay, and because I'm using free shipping, I really don't need to have a shipping calculator on the cart page because we already know the shipping is going to be free, so there's nothing to calculate. So I'm going to uncheck that, and once again, I'm going to come to the bottom and click on Save Changes. Now note that if you are looking at this screen and you see that there's some purple check marks by any of the other shipping methods, perhaps under flat rate or something else, then you need to make sure that it is not enabled. So you really want to make sure that you select what default method you want for shipping and then click on Save Changes. And then you need to go up to each of these and you need to either enable them if you want them or disable them. So I'm going to click on flat rate right here. And here we see that the flat rate is currently disabled. You may happen to see that it is enabled with a check mark here. If you want to have a flat rate shipping, make sure this is checked. If you don't want to have flat rate, then you want to uncheck it. So assuming, or let's just hypothetically, if you want to enable a flat rate of say $5, you would just click on this button and then you would click on cost per order and you'd put a say $5 right there. Also note that there are these question marks, so when you hover over them, they will tell you exactly what it does. So when I hover over this question mark, it says enter a cost excluding tax per order, example $5, or 5 as a quantity. And you want to leave it blank to disable it. So if you wanted to add shipping, a shipping cost of $5, you would simply check this box, make sure that the method title says flat rate, maybe put $5 if that's what you'd like, and then you want to come down below and click on Save Changes. Then what you would need to do is you would need to disable free shipping. So I'm going to click on free shipping right now. Again, this is if you want to have a flat rate shipping of $5. You would disable the free shipping and click on Save Changes. And then you would go to Shipping Options and you would select flat rate and you would click on Save Changes. So I want to have free shipping though for this particular website, so I'm just going to click on free shipping, click on Save Changes, then I'm going to click on flat rate and make sure that is not enabled, which it's not enabled. My free shipping should be enabled, which it is. There's a check mark here that says free shipping, and the other forms of shipping should all not be enabled. They should be disabled. So that's good. That's not checked. Local delivery should also not be checked, which it isn't, which is great. And local pickup also, I want to make sure that is also not checked, which it isn't. Okay, that's great. So the shipping is set up for free shipping right now. The next thing I want to do is I want to set up the payment gateways. So the methods of payment that you can accept when someone is buying something on your website. So I'm going to click on Payment Gateways. And here you'll note that there's 3 different defaults set up: direct bank transfer, check payment, and PayPal. So I want to only have PayPal just to keep things simple. So I'm going to click on the default of PayPal right here and click on Save Changes. And then note that these other 2 still are enabled, so I need to disable them. So the first one is this BACS for the bank transfer, so I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to disable it by unchecking it, going to the bottom and clicking on Save Changes. Next, I want to also disable the check payment option by clicking on check. And then I'm going to uncheck the Enable Check Payment and click on Save Changes. And now we should see that the only one that's enabled when I click on Payment Gateways, the only one that is now enabled is PayPal. So to set PayPal up, I need to click on PayPal here. Then we see that it is enabled, which is great, but I need to add my PayPal email and receiver email so that the payment will be accepted. So I'm going to add my PayPal email right here. And when we hover over this, it says, if the receiver email differs from the email entered above, then input your main receiver email for your PayPal account. So just to keep it just totally confirmed, I'm going to add the same email twice, even though I really don't have to do that since it's the same email. But here I now have my email set up. Then I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to uncheck the Enable PayPal Sandbox because that's used for testing. And then I'm going to click on Save Changes to save the PayPal changes. Now the good news with PayPal is that a customer who comes to your website can easily pay with their PayPal account, or If they don't have a PayPal account or don't want to use a PayPal account, they can simply pay with a credit card or with a debit card by logging in as a guest. They do not have to have a PayPal account to use PayPal to pay for anything on your website when you have the payment method as being PayPal. Okay, so now let's take a look at the site now that we've set that up. Actually, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to click on emails here just to see what that looks like. And here we see, okay, the from name is my website with the email address right there. That looks good. And then I'm going to click on integration. And this is where you can also add Google Analytics if you'd like as well. So previously in the video, we had gone over how you can add Google Analytics in the Buro theme options settings. But this is another place where you can add your Google Analytics code to track your website. So there's a couple different places in this website where you can add Google Analytics. So now let's take a look at the website. I'm going to go up to the site and click on Visit Site. And here we have the website with the slider. We've got our blog posts right here. We've changed the CSS down below. Now let's take a look at the shop page. So I'm going to click on Shop. And here we have our 3 different items and our sidebar. And when I click on one of these items, here we have the item and there's some related products down below. Now I'm going to show you what happens when we go through the process of adding this product to our cart. So I'm going to click on Add to Cart. And here we see we have our cart. Now note this is green. As I mentioned when I was starting the video, I'm not so fond of this green color because it doesn't really match. So let's go ahead and inspect the element and change this color. So to inspect the element, once again, I'm going to hover the cursor, the mouse, over the green bar. I'm going to hold down the control key and click on my mouse, and then inspect element will pop up and I'm going to click on that. Once again, the other way that you can find inspect element is you can, if you're using Google Chrome, you can come up to this right-hand side where there are these 3 lines. You can click on that, and then you want to click on Tools. When you hover over Tools, another menu item pops up with Developer Tools, and when you click on Developer Tools, Inspect Element will pop up again as well. So then you need to find, once you're in Inspect Element, you need to kind of scroll down and you have to find the actual section where this green bar is. So this is a little bit more challenging for me to find the element that way. I much prefer just hovering over the item, holding down the control key and clicking on the mouse, and then this button, this menu item pops up, and then I can easily click on Inspect Element to inspect the element. So here we see, here is the bar. We can see that it's kind of selected on the left-hand side. I'll move that over so you can see it. So here we can see when I hover over this WooCommerce message HTML, this part is selected, and we also notice on the right-hand side the WooCommerce message here are the colors right here with this ticker. So this is a green color. I want to change this to the orange yellow color I've been using in the sidebar and on the simple social icon. So I happen to know what that code is, so I'm just going to click in this code here and add the yellow as the border top and leave it like that. And then I'm also going to click in here and I'm going to add the yellow in here as well. And now we see now this color has changed to yellow, which looks, in my opinion, a lot more consistent with the website. So we need to add this custom CSS to the website because this is just a testing area over here and it's not going to be really saved. So I am going to copy this whole entire thing right here, WooCommerce.WooCommerce-message. I'm going to copy the whole thing, highlight this whole thing and copy it. And then I'm going to come over to the dashboard here, hover over the website, click on dashboard. And then on the left-hand side, I'm going to click on WooDojo right here. And you can see when I click on it, I also get this custom CSS link that pops up. So I'm going to click on this custom CSS HTML link. And then I'm going to add this custom CSS code to the code I've already added previously. So I'm just going to drag that down a little bit and place the cursor where I want to add the code. And because I just copied it, I'm going to just paste it right here. So this is the code that I want to change, and I will be including this in the video if you can't see this. So No worries, I'll make sure that you have this if you want to include this as well. So once I have the custom code here in the CSS code box, then you just want to come to the bottom and you want to click on Save Changes to save the changes. Okay, the CSS settings have been updated. So going back to the site by clicking on Visit Site, and then, let's see, going to the shop page. Actually, there's really no easy button here to view the cart, so we probably should add a View Cart menu item up here to make it easier, because there's really no place to find that. So let's go to the menus by going to Menus here, hovering over the website name and clicking on Menus. And then I'm going to scroll down here to where it says Cart. Let's see, click on View All. And let's see, here is the cart right here, and there's also the checkout page, so we can add both of them actually. So I will add them both to the menu, and then I'll click on Save Menu. And now when I go to the top, you can click on Visit Site, and here is the cart, which is a lot easier to find. So I'm going to click on Cart to go back to the cart. And here on the cart we see the thumbnail image of the product name, the price, the quantity, and the total. Also note that there's a sidebar here. When I come to my shopping cart, once again, I don't want to distract anyone with this unnecessary stuff. So I really just want to have only the cart being visible on this page. So let's go ahead and change that by going up to Edit Page. Then I'm going to scroll down right here, and I want to choose this button right here, this full width layout, and then I'm going to come up to the top and I'm going to click on Update to update the page. Now when I click out the cart page by clicking on View Page, now we see it looks a lot better where there's no distractions and all I see is the item that's in my shopping cart. So notice that there's a coupon here. Let's go ahead and add a coupon or create a coupon for this particular product and for the order at large. Also note, before we create the coupon, here are the cart totals, and we see the shipping is noted as free shipping right here. So to create a coupon for your website, go up to the top, you want to click on Dashboard, and then we want to go to WooCommerce on the left-hand side here, hover over WooCommerce, and then you'll see there's a button here that says Coupons. So I'm going to click on Coupons right here. Here on the coupons page, the first thing that we want to do is we want to add a new coupon by clicking on Add Coupon. Here on the Add New Coupon screen, we want to start by giving the coupon a coupon code. So I'm going to call this Summer Fun. Actually, I'll make it all lowercase to keep it simple. And then you can give a description if you like. This is optional. Next, you can decide what kind of discount type you want. When I click on this, you can either do a cart discount, cart percentage discount, product discount, or product percentage discount. I'm going to keep things simple, and it's just going to be an across-the-board cart discount right here. And I'm going to make the coupon amount $5 by just putting a 5 in there. And then you can go through all of these different criteria and all these different choices that you can choose to really narrow in on what kind of coupon you want to create. So there's all kinds of customizations that you can create for your coupons. I'm going to keep it really simple right now by just giving it a coupon code and a cart discount of $5, and then I'm going to click on Publish to publish this coupon. Okay, so the coupon has been updated and created. Now when I go back to the site by clicking on Visit Site, and then I go to my cart checkout page by clicking on Cart, now I can apply the coupon by just adding it in here. So I'm just going to add my coupon right there and click on Apply Coupon. Note right now that the order total is $120, but when I click on Apply Coupon, now the order total is going to be reduced to $115 because here is my $5 coupon. Also note, we also have the yellow CSS customization we've made. It's no longer green, now it's yellow, and it matches the rest of the site, which is a lot better than it was with the green. So, okay, the next step is we just want to come down here and click on Proceed to Checkout. Once again, there's this sidebar showing up, which I don't like, so I'm going to go up to Edit Page to edit the checkout page. Then I'm going to scroll down as we did with the cart page, and I'm going to click on the layout, the full width layout right here, come back up to the top, and click on Update to update the checkout page. And now when I click on View Page to view the checkout page, now we see it looks a lot cleaner with simply the billing address and the shipping address. So a customer would just come and fill out their billing address and their shipping address, and then they would review their order. We see here the order is 115, and then they would click on place order to place the order. Now note right now that this is configured with PayPal. It says pay via PayPal. You can pay with your credit card if you don't have a PayPal account. So anyone who is coming to the site and wants to pay, they can either pay with their PayPal account, or if they don't have a PayPal account or do not want to pay with a PayPal account, they can simply pay with their credit card or their debit card by signing up as a guest of PayPal. They do not have to have a PayPal account to pay for their items using this PayPal option. So they can log in as a guest and pay as a guest with their credit card. So that is how they would pay for their order. When they click on place order, they'd be sent to PayPal, where once again they can log into PayPal and pay via PayPal, or log in as a guest and pay simply with their credit card or debit card. So there you go. That is how you put this website together with all the shop features and with the portfolio page, with the Lightbox and everything like that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to go back to the home page here. This is the website that we created in this video. This is based off of the Bureau theme by WooThemes. It's a premium theme, a beautiful business theme that also has WooCommerce e-commerce functionality built in. This website is awesome for anyone who wants to feature images on their website to help sell their products or services. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a comment below and like the video. Also, if you know anyone who needs a gorgeous business theme or e-commerce theme focused on images, be sure to share this video with your friends who may need an e-commerce or business website. So thanks for watching, and feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel for updates on my next videos that will be coming out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.